What's going on, Ravens fans? Welcome into the show. My name is Joey Petersen, and the Maxx Crosby trade rumors are heating up. We'll hear from Bart Scott with ESPN. He'll tell you why he believes that Maxx Crosby's best fit is with the Baltimore Ravens. We'll also dive into what Adam Schefter had to say yesterday about what he thinks the Las Vegas Raiders will be expecting from the opposing team wanting to trade for Maxx Crosby, his trade price. We'll break that down on today's show. So happy you guys are here. If this is your first time, make sure you subscribe. If you love daily free videos, make sure you subscribe as well. We are battling Steelers Talk in this February sub battle. We're down 83 subs right now. We cannot be down by the end of the day. We got to make a big push. I need you guys to help me out. If you have not joined us yet, make that change right now. Subscribe to the channel, and let's get into today's show. ESPN and NFL insider Bart Scott names the Baltimore Ravens as the best fit for Maxx Crosby. And to me, when a guy who's as connected in the National Football League, who's played in the National Football League before, says something like this, it means something a little bit more from the analysts. I think the Baltimore Ravens is an amazing spot for him. At some point, you just get tired of playing meaningless football and you want to have an opportunity to win a championship. When you're a great talent like that, you want to be on the biggest stage. You talk about the Baltimore Ravens. They did it with Elvis Dumervil. They have a history. They have a defensive-minded coach. They have the ability with an all-star quarterback. Just imagine with the offense what they're able to do with running the ball with Derrick Henry. To have a game closer. To be able to get to guys like Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, and Patrick Mahomes, he would be the perfect fit. He fits their attitude, but also the relentlessness of how he plays the game. Plays with his hair on fire. He is built to be a Raven. And I could not agree more with that fact from Bart Scott right there at the end. That Maxx Crosby is perfectly built to be a Baltimore Raven. He fits the mold of what we've expected from Baltimore Ravens defensive linemen, defensive players, and just team in general. When we were going through this head coach hiring process, my biggest thing was getting a head coach that can bring back that play like a Raven mentality, because that had been lost over the last couple of years in Baltimore. That did not exist anymore. Passion, strength, character, courage, intensity, while imposing one's will with a nasty, tough, determined style of play. How many times did you see the Baltimore Ravens defensively impose their will? How many times in 2025 did you see them play with a nasty, tough, and determined style of play? Because I didn't see that at all. Maxx Crosby takes that approach every single snap. And we heard from Anthony Weaver and Jesse Minter yesterday, two guys who we believe will bring this intensity back. We heard them talk about how they're looking for that new age of play like a Raven and what that looks like in the 2026 NFL season for Baltimore. Anthony Weaver, we talked about him in the press conferences before with Miami, say things like, everything in this game can be solved with violence. So if you don't think that mentality is going to be reinstilled in this defense, you're wrong. And that's why I believe, along with Bart Scott, that's a perfect fit for Maxx Crosby and this team. You'd be getting a guy who's one of the best edge rushers in the National Football League when he is healthy. You look at the sack numbers, sack totals over the last 3 years. The tackle numbers are incredibly high. I believe that Maxx Crosby is one of, if not the best, run-defending edge rusher in all of the NFL. And like we told you in the opener, Adam Schefter went on with a Philly radio station yesterday. They were talking about a Maxx Crosby trade, what you might be able to expect the Raiders would want, and Schefter didn't hold back. He said, look, I was told that the Raiders don't want to trade him, and that if they even contemplated it, it would take a Micah Parsons type package. That's what I was told. Do I think they're getting 2 ones and a player? No. Do I think that they're wanting to trade him? No. Do I think he'll be traded? It'll change by the week, but it is certainly possible. I've got a couple of takeaways with this. Number one, the Raiders are at least discussing the possibility of a Maxx Crosby trade. And even though right there he said, do I think they want to trade him? No. It always starts with discussion. I throw us back to last summer with Micah Parsons. That seemed like it came out of nowhere when realistically, months leading up to that happening, there were little nuggets here, little nuggets there that at least Jerry Jones and Stephen Jones, they didn't want to trade him, but they're kicking around the idea. It always starts with a C. Trading away a massive, massive player always starts with a discussion of, they don't want to do it. but it could be a possibility, and that's where we find ourselves right now with Maxx Crosby. Number 2 is I believe Las Vegas is crazy to think that they're getting it. The Micah Parsons type deal, that is. Now, if any franchise in the NFL would believe they were able to get something like this, it's the Las Vegas Raiders, but that's because they don't operate in reality. They operate in some place I don't even know where the hell it is. Micah Parsons got, like we said, from Green Bay, 2 first-round picks and Kenny Clark, who was a Pro Bowl defensive tackle. Now the Cowboys own the Packers' 2026 first-rounder, their 2027 first-rounder. But if you ask Packers fans before Micah got injured, that trade was worth it for Green Bay because he was so dominant. Now, why don't I think the Raiders are going to get this? Well, he's a different player. He's dealt with injuries in back-to-back seasons. Torn meniscus in 2025, had the ankle injury in 2024, and he's 28 years old. So naturally, he is just a much older player than Micah Parsons was at the time that deal went down. So automatically, you add up age, you add up injury history, they're not going to get the Micah Parsons price tag because he had 3 less years on him and a lot less injury, if you get what I'm saying. My proposed trade, I've changed it since the last time we discussed this. Give me Maxx Crosby. I will give you the 14th overall pick in 2026. So perfect. You're a rebuilding franchise. You just free up a ton of money with Maxx Crosby. You have the number 1 overall pick and the 14th overall pick. I'll give you a 2027 third rounder. Okay, so give you a late day 2 pick. And you can go ahead and take Rashad Bateman to help your wide receiver room as well. I think that is the most that I would offer for Maxx Crosby. You could maybe argue me into taking that third-round pick in 2027 and upping it to a second-round pick in 2027. I could maybe be convinced if I were on the phone, if I were Eric DeCosta and Mark Davis was saying, Joey, you change that third to a second, deal done, we're putting in the trade right now, I could probably be convinced to do that. But as of right now, February 19th, 2025, this is my proposal. Would you accept that proposal? A for accept, D for decline. You let me know down below in the comment section. Would you accept this trade, ladies and gentlemen? You get Max, but you give up a first, a third, and Rashad Bateman. You let me know your answer in the comment section. We got more to discuss, but real quick, do have to give a shout out to our brand new t-shirt we've got available right now on the chatsports.shop store. To get it specifically, chatsports.com/flockgreen. You can get it in green. You could also get it in black if you'd rather have it more of a Baltimore Ravens type color. But I need some people to join me on the Baltimore drinking team, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, I need teammates right now. We don't have any. First 5 buy this shirt. Chatsports.com/flockgreen. You will get a shout out on Monday's video. We can track the sales so we'll know who's there. And if you want to buy more than one, shoot, you can get more than one shout outs as well. Great price, multiple sizes, multiple colors, great deal. And St. Patrick's Day is coming up. Celebrate the right way with us over here on the Ravens Rundown. Appreciate you guys for supporting us. If you want that shirt, again, chatsports.com/flockgreen. That link is in the comments and also in the description of today's video. When we talk edge rushers, we discussed this a little bit yesterday, but Jamison Hensley was the one who tweeted it out. Reminder, Anthony Weaver spoke at the press conference for the first time. He said, we certainly have rushers from a talent standpoint. We have dudes who can get there. And while I think it's honorable that Anthony Weaver said that, and I'm sure if I was in his position, I would say the exact same thing, but I'm not, so I'm going to say something the exact opposite. You don't have the dudes. You have a dude in Mike Green that you have confidence in. Tavius Robinson, great player. Adisa Isaac, he's a nobody. Okay? So really, on contract right now in your edge room, because Draymond Jones, Kyle Van Noy, David Ajabo, those are all free agents. So on contract, these are the 3 guys you have. That goes against the opposite of what Anthony Weaver's saying. Those guys, you don't have talent right now. You just don't. I'm sorry. I think Mike Green's going to take a massive step up in 2026 under Jesse Minter. I believe that, but you have to see it first to say we've got dudes in that room. The thing that is holding me up of all of this, though, is the bald man we call our general manager, right? I just don't know if Eric DeCosta would consider something like this. Because just the way his draft strategy has been in recent years, really forever for Baltimore. Now, maybe a new head coach, a new regime, a new everything, maybe that changes things, right? With Jesse Minter coming in, possibly that shifts things up. But I want to throw it back to what Eric DeCosta said. I believe he sat down, I forget who he was with, but he talked about his draft strategy. And he said, look, I look at the draft in many ways. And I have to say it's a luck-driven process. If you have more picks, you're going to hit on more players. That goes back to the philosophy that I think Ozzie started back in 1996. We started really going after picks and trading back as much as we could in any given round. And I think that might be your answer right there. Like, if I were a betting man, Eric DeCosta just values picks too much to make that move. Like, he might believe, okay, maybe you sign a cheapish guy in free agency. Maybe you re-sign Draymond Jones, add early in the draft, and then you don't have to pay Maxx Crosby that big contract and give away one or two picks and Rashad Bateman, and nobody's going to know none the wiser. I personally think you need a game changer at that position, and I think Maxx Crosby is that. If the Ravens do trade for Maxx Crosby, though, we'll be live right here on the channel. Make sure you subscribe and get those notifications on, so that whenever time we put out a video, you guys are notified. You guys can be in there hanging out with us. That's going to do it for today's show. We will be back tomorrow. Maybe 2 videos. Probably 1. We'll see how productive Ethan and I can be throughout the rest of the day. But make sure you guys got me followed on socials and make sure you subscribe as well.